What happens when fear refuses to leave, but faith won't let you quit? How can I say I have faith, I believe, I have hope, but I still feel afraid? Can these two really coexist? Relax, take a deep breath. Of course, faith and fear or any other emotions or feelings can cohabit together. Let's take a look at the difference and creating a balance. Hi everyone, I'm Precious Maduka. Welcome back to our Faith, Hope, and Purposeful Living channel where we connect deeply with God and with life. Today, we're going to be looking at a topic: faith doesn't necessarily cancel out fear. Let's take a look at what Precious Maduka has to say and what you think in return. Stay tuned, do not go anywhere. We need to understand that faith is not necessarily the eradication of fear. It is just choosing to trust regardless, because you look forward to the end result and you believe that there would be a better end result, and that's why you're holding on. That's faith. It doesn't mean that you can't be scared even though you have faith. Now let's look at it this way. When a patient is sick, this patient is administered a certain drug and they are told this drug has some side effects. It might make you feel dizzy, feel tired, feel sleepy, eat a lot, or whatever side effect that comes with different drugs. But it is just a side effect. You would get better after a week or 2 weeks of taking this drug. What happens? The patient goes ahead to take the drug, knowing fully well that there's a side effect. So when this patient takes the drug and the patient is feeling dizzy, he or she is not afraid. He or she is not going back to say, I feel dizzy, because you were informed that this side effect is there. So how can the side effect of this drug coexist with the healing that this drug is trying to do, or the treatment? That's it. The side effect can exist side by side with the healing and the treatment that is ongoing through administering these drugs to the patient. That's the same way it is with faith. We can have fear, we can have doubt, we can have confusion, we can have uncertainty, and still believe. Oh Lord, I believe in you, but I'm afraid. That's you being truthful. Fear and faith existing side by side. So just like that patient taking the drugs and seeing the side effect, but choosing to go through with the drugs still. That's the same way faith works. We know that there's fear, there's anxiety. We are not sure what the end result may be, but we believe regardless that this is what it will be. Or rather, should I even say that we are sure? So yes, faith can exist with fear. One thing I would want us to understand is that God can handle your feelings. So you don't need to hide them. That you're feeling anxious. I'm going to write an exam. Of course, I've read, but I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling tensed. I'm feeling scared. But I have read and I'm telling God that I'm afraid, Lord, I feel anxious, but I believe in your help. I believe in your wisdom. At that moment, both statements are true and God can handle both accordingly. So you do not need to hide your feelings. You do not need to pretend for God for your faith to be real. You don't need to do that. The Bible says that in Psalm 56 verse 3, it says, at that time my heart is afraid, I will trust in you. So it means that there is fear there in my heart, but I am going to trust in you at that same moment. I'm not going to let the fear wipe away my faith. I'm going to hold on to you, even though I still can feel that fear there. I'm sure when Peter was walking on water, when Jesus asked him to walk on water, he was scared because he could still feel the coldness, the chillness of the water underneath his feet. But guess what? He went regardless. Oh, I'm so scared. What if I sink? But the master called me, so I'm going. And so at the point where he looked away and he began to sink, guess what? He called onto the master. That was still faith at play, but fear was still in motion. So of course, fear and faith again can exist side by side. It doesn't make me less of a child of God. It just makes us human. The Bible says that God understands our frame. He understands that we are made of dust. He understands us. Even Christ, when he was being crucified, the whole process, there were many times where he cried and said, let this cup pass away from me. That was a certain emotion. But he would also say, nevertheless, let your will be done. On the cross, he said, my God, why have you forsaken me? That was a certain emotion, the pain, fear, torment. But he would always go back to say, let your will be done. I trust you if this is your will. So even your Lord and your Master, Jesus, had faith in what he was coming to do for us on earth, had faith in his Father. But there were days where he was scared, there were days where he was tired. So this is me telling you that faith and fear, faith and worry, faith and anxiety, faith and doubt can exist side by side. But what to do in those seasons is what matters, is what makes you through. Okay, is what makes you through. So you don't have to be afraid. There have been days where my faith didn't cancel out my fear, and my fear didn't erase my faith. One thing that would always keep me is knowing that God can handle my feelings. Even if I have 10 of them together, God can handle them. There are days where you are happy and you think about something, you are just sad again, or days where you are happy, but in between, you are still careful, you are not sure of the unknown, you still have the fear of the unknown. Those are a lot of emotions coexisting. So why not faith and fear? They can also coexist together. God is not disappointed in your fear. He just wants to be trusted through it every step the way. God is worthy of our trust. He just wants to know that even though she's scared, even though she's worried, she's still looking up to me. He's still looking up to me. He still trusts me. Okay. So when next you have any reason, you feel afraid, but you know your faith is still there, just be true. Go to God and say, Lord, I am scared, but I trust you. Lord, I'm in doubt, but I believe in you. Lord, I don't understand what is going on, but I trust in your wisdom. And God will be so delighted to have both of them at the same time and to handle them. He would handle your fear. He would handle your faith. It doesn't make him see you less of a child of God, and it doesn't make you less of a child of God. It doesn't mean that you do not have enough faith because there is fear there. But it can get to a point where the fear will be completely out because your faith kept growing. But even if it doesn't get to that point, dearly beloved, know that God can handle them, and it's okay for both of them to exist side by side. You are still a winner and a victor regardless. All right. So please do well to let God handle all your emotions together, whether faith, fear, worry, trouble, joy, whatever it is. God is interested in all of these emotions because you are human and you must feel them at one point of life or the other. I hope that you were blessed by this short but not so short conversation or discussion. Please do well to like, share, engage, subscribe, click on the notification bell, share with friends and family. Let them know that both of their feelings at that point are valid. Precious Maduka here. I'll see you in our next video. I'll see you in our next podcast episode. I'll see you all over our platforms at Precious Maduka. Shalom.